It's time now for another edition of the Canalta Hotels AJHL Coaches Show. I'm Taylor Medak, and I'm pleased to be joined by Calgary Mustangs General Manager and Head Coach Tyler Drader. Tyler, thanks a lot for taking the time before a big game here in Sherwood Park, your only visit of the season to this North Division team. But welcome, and just want to say congratulations on the year so far. You guys are a win away from matching a total of wins of the last two seasons combined. With your organization. For you, what's it like right now with this Mustangs team and the way you guys are playing?
Well, it's been a lot of fun. We got a hard-working group, and they're committed to getting better every day, and it's been lots of fun.
For you, I read an article in Hockey Now talking about the recruitment process and just kind of the state of the Mustangs, where you guys are at now, and over the summer when you took over last year, coming mid-season, a bit of a tough process in getting through that, but the recruiting process for you over the summer very difficult because you had a lot of no's. Just talk about what's it like, taking over a team that obviously was in some difficulty when it came to the standings and even financially as well, but more so on ice. What was it like, having to constantly go over and over to different players and try and recruit guys and just maybe sticking to it and going forward?
Well, yeah, I think it was tough to start. We got a lot of no's, a lot of people that would see where the Mustangs were in the standings in the last couple of years and figured, well, I don't really want to play there. It's kind of the graveyard of hockey players. So, that was the first thing we wanted to change, right? We want to make sure that we, first and foremost, brought in good people, and I think we did that off the ice, brought in good coaching staff, good people on our board, good volunteers, really good scouting staff led by Daryl Robinson, I think is really changed the culture of our team quite a bit. And then that being said, there's lots of good hockey players out there, right? And they don't all find a home, and we kind of pick the scraps off of the tables of others, to start things off. But we don't see them as scraps, right? We see them as guys that were overlooked, and I think our guys play with a chip on their shoulder that they want to prove that they belong in the league and they're as good as anybody here, and they are.
Well, we'll certainly get to some of those players that you speak of. What was the biggest thing heading into this year, the biggest thing you felt, maybe it is culture, that you kind of needed to change with the organization, with the group? Because you did bring back some guys that have been with this team for not only a season, but two prior to this season as well.
Yeah, you know what? There was a good group, a good core of guys led by Salvador Scalise. Our captain. He's the heartbeat of our team and the leader. So, Walker and Chernichko are also good leaders on the team, and that was a nice thing about coming in last year. Is I had a chance to see who should stay and who maybe needed to move on.
You've been around hockey a long time, and you touched on those guys like Nathan Walker and Chernichko and your captain Salvatore Scalise. What's it like to see those guys playing in meaningful hockey games right now? Every game does mean something because you're playing for a job next year, or maybe there's scouts in the stands. But it seems like you guys are having a lot more fun at the rink. What's it like to see those guys kind of evolve over being on a bottom end team to now a very competitive team in the South Division?
That's great. I think they were pretty discouraged when I got there last year. And things didn't go all that well when we had to trade away some of our better players to build for the future. And it took a lot of courage for them to stick around, right? It would have been real easy for them to say, you know what, I want out of here. I don't want any part of this. But that speaks to the character that they have, and that's what we're looking for, is good character guys. And if you have good people around, good things happen. That's just the way it is.
All right, speaking of good people around, in goal, one really good recruit in Ashton Abel from Grand Prairie, seeing a bulk of the work with your team, had great numbers at the midget AAA level. Is it maybe this year he's just trying to find his game at the junior A level, and hopefully he'll translate into the numbers that he had in midget AAA?
You know what, I consider him a legit number one goaltender right now. I think he's a perfect example of our team. Fort McMurray kid really wanted to play for his home team, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him. And they got two really good goaltenders up there, and we were lucky to get him down here, and he's been fantastic for us. I mean, every game he gives us a chance to win, and I think I like the most about him is he's calm, right? He could be overtime and he's just making a glove save like no big deal, and he'll be under pressure, quick little outlet pass, and he's just got ice water in his veins.
Well, certainly you need that when you're a goaltender. And Joey May, a guy you acquired in September. I remember seeing you guys at the showcase, and it was against Grand Prairie. The game bit of out of reach, but it seemed Joey was still competing for pucks, and he was right involved in the game, even though it looked like you guys were down and out. Is that what you get from him night in and night out? A very competitive netminder?
Oh yeah, he battles harder than anybody. I think when you talk character, I mean, he's 20 out of 10. I think he's one of the most mature kids I've ever coached, and he demands his players play hard in front of him, and he doesn't give up on a shot in practice or in a game. He gives it everything he's got, and he inspires our team for sure.
On the back end for you guys, you mentioned some of the older guys that you have riding the blue line for you, and Captain Salvatore Scalise, and as well as Nathan Walker's a third-year guy with the Mustangs. But you have a nice group of 2000s as well. You talked about building for that future. It seems you have a nice mix of young and old on the blue line.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it comes to our young guys, it's probably led by Aiden Roche-Setaguchi. That we gave up a lot to get him in from Okotoks because we believe in him. I think he's a guy that can skate, hits like a truck. He's got a great shot. He's super competitive, and he's a good kid. So in our 2000s, been fantastic. There, with some big bodies, and we actually got lucky with Josh Kroon. He started the year here and got kind of squeezed out in a numbers game, and we're happy to add him, and just another guy that's looking to prove himself. So
up front, and kind of the highlight maybe of your team is not only the amount of rookie players that you have contributing in your lineup, but Joseph Karpyshin, your leading scorer, who kind of bounced around Olds, Drumheller, and was in the Kootenay League last year, but he leads your team in scoring right now. Just talk about what Joseph means to your program.
Well, he's a fantastic kid. He's a pure goal scorer. He's, in my opinion, kind of Brad Marchand type of mold. Like he's skilled, but he's also going to get in your face, and he's going to be hard to play against and get under your skin a little bit. And we like that, right? We like to be hard to play against, and he's been really good for us, and he just is ultra competitive, and that's ultimately what we want for sure.
And then, I mentioned some of the rookies, a guy like Daniel Ryberic, a guy that's putting up points. And you mentioned you might have grabbed some scraps from some other teams, but a lot of your young players were scorers at the midget AAA level. Just looking through the numbers today, and a lot of guys were in that 30-plus point category, whether it was from various programs out of Calgary or in Southern Alberta, Medicine Hat or Strathmore. You really have a good young group. How excited are you? Obviously, this year's going a lot better than last year, but how excited are you even for maybe next year and beyond?
Yeah, for sure. I think we got a good group. We got a good balance of players. You mentioned Ryberic. He got kind of squeezed out in Lloydminster, and we were able to pick him up. And he led the league in goals in midget AAA, and he's another guy that just he's got that magic goal column, right? Like he's known how to score for a long time, and that's one of the nice things. I've been in minor hockey for a while, watching a lot of these kids grow up, so I've been fortunate to see them develop, and I kind of know who I need to target, and I think that's been an advantage for us for sure.
Well, looking overall at the overall picture right now, it's a real logjam between third spot and all the way down to the seventh spot in the South Division. How competitive is the division this year compared to years past, where it might have been just obviously Okotoks is high up there, but it seems that this year in a long time, the South, there's much parity as there is in the North, it seems at times, and now, like I said, with the South, it's just a battle every night, it seems.
Yeah, and I think that's what you want as a league, right? I think good competitive hockey every night. You don't know who's going to win, and I think that's ultimately what you want. It wasn't like last year where basically teams would come in and steamroll us, right? So, now we're giving them a tough game, and it's one of those things where You go on a slide and you could be near the bottom, or you go on a run and you could get up near the top, right? So, it's our approach is just taking it one game at a time, and ultimately like having a competitive league, I think.
Well, going towards the playoffs, as it would stand right now, if playoffs started today, you'd get the Calgary Canucks. How interesting would that be if you met the other Calgary team in the first round?
Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. You don't know how things are going to shake out by the end of the year, but they're a really good team. I'm sure it'd be pretty fun to have a crosstown rival for sure.
What would you like seeing from your group going forward in the last 25 to 20 games that you have left?
I think we just want to continue to grow. Good habits, competitiveness, working together as a group. I mean, you can't stress enough the importance of having a team play, right? You can have all the skill in the world. If you don't compete for your brother next to you, you're not going to be successful. And I think that's been the major reason for our success is our guys battle for each other, and that's where we're going to continue to grow.
Well, Tyler, thanks a lot for joining me here on the AJHL Coaches Show. It's good to see both Calgary teams doing well right now, especially with the Mustangs franchise having been revamped, and that's a large part in thanks to you and the players that you have out there. Good luck the rest of the year, and thanks a lot for joining me on the AJHL Coaches Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, stay tuned throughout the year for more Canalta Hotels AJHL Coaches Show.